Hey everybody, welcome to episode 30 of the Joys of Games podcast. We are finally recording this week of Xbox on Thursday, September 9th. Are you sure it's not September 8th, Collin? Thursday, September 8th.
I'm going to go with the 8th.
2016. Regardless of what the show notes say, this is once again the week of Xbox. I am one of your hosts, Josh Brown. I am joined by possibly the happiest man on the earth, if only because he got to meet one of his idols over the weekend at PAX. None other than Collin Wheeler.
Good evening.
Hi, Collin.
Hello. Apparently numbers escape me and dates escape me, and I don't even know where I am, so I don't even know what's going on.
Can we confirm it is the 8th of September?
It is,
okay.
After looking at Google Calendar.
Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that I was immediately mad at you for putting the wrong date. I was immediately frightened because I just recorded 2 podcasts before this and said September 8th. And I was like, I'm just going to have to do those over again.
I would love if you had a really bad, dub in the middle of it. Where it's like you and there's like a fan in the background or kids yelling. You're just like a really bad Photoshop, but for podcasting.
Or just get somebody else to actually say September 8th.
Oh, that would be even better. It's like when they have the curse words on cable TV. Yippee-ki-yay, fudge monkey.
It's totally somebody else.
Yeah.
So good. I think that'd work well for a podcast. Probably not.
It'd be disorienting for sure. You'd probably look at your phone and be like, wait, okay, yeah, this is the right podcast.
I'm confused now, to be honest. I mean, we just cleared it up and I'm so confused, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's confusing when you talk to yourself for 90 minutes straight. Got to be a psychological warfare in your brain.
I didn't use headphones. I wasn't on Skype. It was just a microphone and a recording program. I found myself looking in the mirror and talking, and I'm like, who am I even talking? I'm literally just talking to no one right now.
That's awesome.
It was a strange thing, man. It's not fun to talk to yourself for that long.
I just imagine
like you're having a conversation, you know?
Yeah, I imagine it's like Dear Diary. Dear Diary, today I'm going to record Toys for Games podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Jason was unavailable, unfortunately. So I'm talking to you.
Yard work
got in the way.
There was moments where I tried to do some dramatic voices and, tone it down a little bit. And I kept comparing it to Fireside Chats, made famous by FDR, and more recently your boy Colin Moriarty. But I just can't pull it off. I can't be that serious for that long. So I just pretended like I was talking to somebody, even though no one was there. No one was responding. I think there's points where I left a point open, and there was a few seconds of emptiness, expecting somebody to answer, and that didn't happen. So that's gonna be real weird when people are listening to that.
I'm sorry. That sounds like a sad, sad night.
It's not too bad because I get to hang out with you now. So.
Aww.
So
sweet.
Going back to meeting your idol.
Oh yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't tell very many stories from PAX on my solo show that I did because I don't feel like telling the stories by myself without anybody to back me up on them or to add input to the stories I'm telling or to laugh even would do the stories justice. So I promised the people that, listening to this podcast, we would talk about some things from PAX, specifically involving you because, it made sense.
Yeah.
That I really didn't want to talk longer by myself, so I was trying to keep the podcast as short as possible, Collin.
I'm pretty sure the limit is if you talk to yourself past 90 minutes, you're considered a crazy person. So
I think so. Yeah.
Good on you for cutting it off.
Yeah. Whew. It was close.
I was really close.
The power of editing, and I nailed that 90-minute mark.
Heck yeah.
Meeting idols, PAX West, a.k.a. PAX Prime, a.k.a. the place to be.
It's true. I met Tim Schafer.
Whoa!
He is one of my favorite video game designers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the famous figures in the industry. I've been playing his games for many years. Mm-hmm. In fact, the first game that I really latched onto that he made was Psychonauts, which I've talked on the podcast before about.
Yes, we have.
Love that game to death. It was the last great platformer I think
Whoa.
that I can come up with besides Nintendo.
Let me tell you about a game called Knack.
You can keep that to yourself. And I actually later found out that he made a game that I used to play in school all the time, which is called Maniac Mansion. So it's kind of funny that when we were at PAX, I was just walking by and I was like, holy crap, there's Tim Schafer. And Val was just like, go say hi to him. And I just basically walked up and said hello. And he talked a little bit, and then we got a picture, and then on his way he went.
Have you made that picture your Twitter avatar yet?
I'm working on it. I was actually working on it today, and then I had to take Hayden to soccer and just totally got sidetracked. So
it takes like 10 seconds. What are you working
I know.
on?
Trust me.
You
I know.
photoshopping it?
Well, yeah, I got to Photoshop like all the characters in the background, and
Sure.
No, I'm not.
You're gonna try to remove the hover hand and make it look like you're actually getting to touch them?
No, I was thinking about adding an extra hand so I can look like Goro, kind of.
Ooh, Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the tentacle guys are just like one like giant tentacle with two arms. They're actually kind of normal looking.
That's true.
If they're purple and
I'm just thinking maybe add a tentacle coming from
you
to him.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Extra
so you're saying it
appendages.
looks like an octopus, but it's a tentacle, which is attached to an octopus.
Usually.
Well, with that tangent aside, I went back. I was determined to go back the next day because I didn't realize he was there. Was it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday signing basically all 3 days, and I just happened to get there when there was like no line, so I could just come up to him and say hello. So the next day I was like, okay, I for sure have to get something signed, and I wish I had brought my games because I had no idea he was going to be there. And honestly, if I had done my research, I probably would have figured it out. But it's very overwhelming going to PAX. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people that I love and follow, so it got lost in the weeds basically.
It was also your first. You didn't even know. I mean, as far as research was concerned, where to even start in that department.
Right.
Like you were asking me if they sold stuff at PAX like before.
Yeah.
I'm like, Collin, come on.
I mean, I figured they did. I just didn't know what kind of stuff they sold. So
that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I have a clear understanding. So that after I met him the first day, I bought Raz plushie, which I told myself I wasn't going to buy any plushies. Incidentally enough, I bought almost nothing but plushies at PAX, and Raz is from Psychonauts. He's the main character. For everyone that hasn't played the game, you should.
Not to be confused with raspberries from Pokemon Go, because that would be a weird thing.
Yeah, that would be a very hard thing to buy a plushie of. And then I also bought it was basically a game bundle of all of Double Fine Studios, not all the games that have been released since 2015. So they didn't have any of their 2016 games. They didn't have Headlander or what is that one? Is it Gang Beasts?
Gang Beasts.
Which, yeah, so they didn't have that one.
I don't think is actually out yet, is it?
It's out on PC, I believe. It's not out on
beta.
Yeah, I think it's like an early access thing.
Gotcha.
So it didn't have either of those, but it did have a lot of their other. It has like all their other games. It has Brutal Legend, Psychonauts, Broken Age, Grim Fandango, Costume Quest. Trying to think of some of the other ones, but a whole bunch of games basically. I think it's like 10 games for $25, but it came with like these limited edition postcards with like really nice artwork. So I came back the next day, waited in the proper line, so I did have to wait about a half an hour or so.
You should have gave everybody in line raspberries.
Yeah, I should have.
You could have skipped right to the front.
Yeah, I mean I tried throwing a ball at them and they just looked at me and glared.
Right.
So
Lots of balls getting thrown around PAX.
I tried throwing deodorant. They were a little bit more okay with that.
Sure.
So
yeah.
There's a lot of free deodorant at PAX.
Well, you can thank
don't
Twitch
ever
for that.
utilize it, though.
Hey, Twitch, thank you for hosting our panel once again.
Yeah.
And for the free deodorant.
Yeah. And Reese's Puffs.
I don't think Twitch was responsible for the Reese's Puffs.
But I'm just saying thank you to the world.
Sure. I don't think enough thanks could be given to that.
Right. So I go back and I talk to him for a little bit more, and I ask him to sign. There was like 10 postcards in there, so I asked him to sign the games that he worked on. He's like, I worked on all of these. I'm like, oh, well, okay. do you want to sign them all? He's like, I'll just sign the ones that I designed or I was the lead on. I was like, okay, that's perfect. That's kind of what I was wanting anyway.
Sure.
And then I was asking if the other game creators were there. And Lee Petty, who's the one that did Headlander and Stacking, which I love Stacking if you ever played that one. He was not there. The lead designer of Iron Brigade, I believe, was there, but he was like swarmed with a bunch of people, so I couldn't get a hold of him. And then the lead designer of Costume Quest, she actually left for Pixar, which I thought was interesting.
Oh,
so she's no longer with the company.
Oh, that sucks.
But that's a good career path.
It sucks for you.
Yes, but that's okay.
This is all about you, Collin. This is the time to be selfish here.
Well, I met Tim Schafer, so I can't be any happier than that. Like that was just like a dream come true. It really was. Just
Question.
one of their. Yes.
Did he pretend to remember you from the day before?
No.
Okay.
I told him that I met the day before. He's like, oh really? He's like, sorry, I see a lot of people. I'm like, that's totally fine. I don't expect you to remember me at all.
I was just hoping he didn't pretend to remember. He'd be like, oh yeah, totally, man.
No,
I missed you.
He was not like that. And if I go to another PAX, I will see him again and say hello to him again.
Sure.
Because he was such a super nice and like approachable guy.
Right.
So that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I also got to briefly shake hands with Greg Miller. He was very busy. He talked to you too, because obviously you're friends.
We're his babies.
Yep, that's what he exactly introduced. My babies. Gave you guys 2 hugs. It was hilarious.
There's nothing quite like a Greg Miller hug. Let me just tell you.
He's hilarious too because like he goes up to me. He's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Greg." I'm like, "Yep, I know who you are. Absolutely know who you are." I think everyone at PAX knows, but he like genuinely is like shaking his hand like as if I've never heard of him, which is like the humblest thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not like, "Oh, you know who I am," type of thing.
You should have said, "Hi, I'm your other Collin," or "I'm his Collin."
Oh yeah. Oh come on. I don't know. I was slightly starstruck, so
understandable.
I get nervous.
Sure.
I
mean, yeah, if you had just been mad about his relationship status like Val was, you totally wouldn't have been nervous. She did not want to meet him.
She wasn't having any of that.
Good times.
And then I also got to meet Marty Sleva of IGN, which he's my favorite writer at IGN right now. He was we went to Buffalo Wild Wings together, and he was sitting at the bar like he does. And I was telling you, oh, look, he's over there. You're like, yeah, here he is. I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him. You're like, okay, do your thing. So I go up and talk to him and just tell him like how much I love his writing and how much I appreciate the podcast that he does, because honestly, he's one of my favorite parts of all the IGN podcasts. Once again, super humble guy. He didn't shoo me away or anything. He was just like, he wanted to sit down and have a conversation. I kind of cut the conversation a little bit short, even though I probably could have talked longer, just because, you know, he's at a bar.
Yeah.
Probably trying to relax, probably trying to get away from everything. So I just kind of want to be like, I really love your work and just get out, because I feel like it's really important. I feel like a lot of people get crap on the internet, and I don't feel like there's enough positivity. So I just basically
100%.
just want to get that message across and kind of get out.
Yeah. All the people that appreciate other people's work are not vocal about it for the most part, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that was really some really big moments for me. It's just meeting a lot of the industry people that I love. Another really cool thing was when we sat down and did and watched the PS I Love You XO panel.
Mm-hmm.
1001
Reasons Why the Vita is Better Than the PC.
Yeah, surprisingly they didn't get to that.
They got 1 or 2 reasons in.
Sure. I love the guy asking a question like, hey, I came here for the subject matter. And they're like, do you not understand how our podcasts work?
We're sorry. You're in the wrong panel.
Yeah. So what was awesome was Colin Moriarty, like over and over again on all the Twitch streams, all the podcasts was saying, I'm not going to PAX, not going to PAX. I'm sick of going to PAX. I don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
all conventions, really.
All conventions. And they were, crapping on Colin at the beginning, and then all of a sudden they introduce him, and all, Val, you and I were like, we're not looking back. They're pulling our leg, because that's 100% what they would do.
We know Greg Miller.
Yep. Nope. He showed up.
Yep.
He was there, and I lost my mind. I was like, holy crap.
I was thinking about this after the fact. Okay, so obviously waiting to get into that panel, there was a line. and it was just filled with fans of Kind of Funny.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How did they get Collin into the theater without anybody seeing him?
I really think he came in after the panel started. Like, he opened the door and sat down in the very back.
That's possible.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, but it was awesome just seeing him in person. We didn't get to meet him, but it was really cool just seeing him.
I was going to introduce myself, but I'm just like, what am I going to say? I'm the dork that Greg Miller always talks to about toys that you hate so much. Like, how's that going to go over?
It's always hilarious when he talks about you guys. He's like, oh, toys and all that stuff. Or not you guys specifically, but like just like the Lego Dimension stuff, and
sure.
you know, it's just really funny.
And you could just see Colin's eyes just glaze over.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Meeting Jason and Matt, and Jason and Lauren, Jason number 2, and Lauren
Superstar.
and TJ.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome too.
Yeah. They're real people.
Yeah, they're real people. They're not avatar pictures on Twitter like I thought they were.
Yeah. It's weird, huh?
Yeah, there was one day that Jason and I or morning, I should say, where we kind of split from you guys and went straight to the Pokemon Center.
Yep.
Which, that's a whole nother thing that just kind of blows my mind, that I had to wait in line half an hour to buy something.
Which you weren't even going to until Val literally pushed you into the line.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing was like totally disorganized for starters.
Yeah, well,
they tried their best.
It was bigger and more popular than they anticipated.
Yeah, the enforcers, the guy there tried his best, but like basically we got there and the line was basically capped.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it was the end of the escalator and you couldn't block the escalator.
Right.
Which makes sense.
You have to come back in like 5 minutes or so when the line goes down. And in my head, I'm like thinking like the line is never going to go down because people are going to constantly line up. So he's like, you can hover over here.
Right.
And so we quote unquote hovered over there, and then people from the escalator just started getting in line. And he's like, no, you got to go back. And then the line started moving. He's like, okay, everybody go. And then I go. The line immediately fills up from the people that just came at the escalator. So I didn't get a chance to get in there in time. And Val's like, get your butt in there. And so she basically like forced me into it. And Jason and I were both just looking at our phones like, do, just at the end of the line where we weren't supposed to be because we were out of the little square that they had set up.
Sure.
And he's just like, everybody that's over the square, you need to get out of line. And Jason and I were just pretending to ignore him. We're like,
you had paid your dues at that point.
Yeah, because I had waited longer than the 10 people in front of me.
Right. Which was like a minute and a half, but still.
That's still.
Yeah.
That's 90 seconds. That counts.
Absolutely.
So stood in line for probably like 15 minutes. It actually moved pretty quickly once we got in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they had a lot of plushies, a lot of cool collectibles. But what was amazing to me is it was really like Disneyland in the sense that people are just grabbing everything in a frenzy just to buy it.
Yeah.
We went in there. There's this really nice like plush Snorlax that was probably like 16 inches tall, give or take. $50 for a thing. So I was like, nah, too rich for my blood. And they had probably like 15 of them stacked. And by the time I left, they're all gone.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was crazy in there.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had a good first PAX?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you check out the Xbox booth?
I looked at it from afar.
Yeah.
The lines were extremely long for everything.
The big companies, their booths are always pretty well packed in with people, so.
Yeah, I did go to the Nintendo booth and play Yokai Watch 2.
Yokai Watch.
Right. Yokai Watch. Anyway, I always sing that song to the Dr. Mario theme song. I don't know why. It just kind of goes perfectly.
Sure.
But I did get to play that. Their booth was pretty disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. It was really simple.
Yep.
I was really hoping to play the new Zelda for Wii U, but it was not there.
Yep.
So,
I mean, they did kind of tell everybody ahead of time what was going to be at their booth, so it's not like you went in with expectations or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? That's
your
fault.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do research? Thought we talked about this, Collin.
I don't know why I didn't do research. It's just like I think everything just happened really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, I'll look it up on the car right there. But then like we were talking in the car, so that didn't really happen either.
Right,
So,
right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll know for next time for sure what I'm going to do and what to avoid.
Yeah. You'll figure it out. It takes time.
Yep.
Well, the reason I ask about Xbox booth is because, of course, this is the week of Xbox. This week is sponsored. We have a sponsor of the Xbox week.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Big Mike. You can find on Twitter at Big Mike8109. He has his own podcast called Said Enough Games. Follow them on Twitter at Said Enough Games, all spelled out. I believe the podcast is available everywhere podcasts are sold. He also has an Xbox specific podcast, which the name is escaping me right now, but if I remember, I'll put it in the show notes so you guys can know what it is and how to find it. But big thank you to Big Mike for sponsoring the Xbox Week at Big Mike 8109. Also, co-host of mine for the professional wrestling podcast that we do, Triple P Podcast.
Nice.
Pops, pinfalls, and payoffs.
I think it's, what is it, Podcast Scorpio?
Maybe that's it. I definitely know Scorpio's in it. In some way, shape, or form.
Yes, that's what it is. Podcast Scorpio.
Perfect.
Which I did not know about, and now I'm following.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So check that out. So thank you, Big Mike, for sponsoring this episode. Hope we do you proud. Because we're going to talk all about Xbox. All about Xbox. We're going to start back in the day, though, Collin. Not too far back. Not way, way back. But this is going to happen with Xbox. Xbox doesn't have a long lineage of storied franchises to pull from and talk about.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to go just a few years back to talk about games that we love. There's a reason we're going to be talking about this game. It's because a long-awaited sequel is actually coming out next week. The game we're going to talk about is Pac-Man Championship Edition DX.
Cue the Pac-Man music.
Pac-Man, watch.
Pac-Man Championship Edition, man.
Yeah.
Released in 2007, Xbox Live Arcade game with amazing, glowing reviews. Very similar to the original Pac-Man, but had a lot of perfect, like, modern updates. And it's funny because when Championship Edition came out, it was actually the original Pac-Man designer who went in and designed this game, or the Championship Edition, and that was the last game that he worked on before he retired.
Really?
Fast forward 3 years later, the DX Edition comes out, and basically took that concept of what he did with the Championship Edition and like made it that much better. Like, no offense to him or anything like that, because without that design, it would have never been as good as the DX is now. And it's interesting because it's just like it's basically the core concept of the game is exactly the same as the one that you would play in the arcades, the original Pac-Man, or basically any iteration of Pac-Man. You go around, get the pellets, dodge the ghosts, eat the fruit to kill the ghosts. But they added like subtle mechanics like sleeping ghosts that if you go by, they wake up and then start chasing you.
Sure.
And if you get all the pellets and specific like items, and the other side of the map changes, like really cool, really subtle things. And the gameplay was perfect. I mean, the gameplay for Pac-Man has been, in my opinion, perfect since its inception, but just even more refined.
Right.
In this version.
I mean, for anybody that thinks Miss Pac-Man is like the perfect Pac-Man game, it's a valid argument. I'll accept it, but I also feel like those people have not played Pac-Man Championship Edition DX.
Yeah.
because they took the perfect gameplay of Miss Pac-Man, or Pac-Man if you want, but Miss Pac-Man is superior, and just ramped it up to like level 15 on a 10 scale. You know, it's just incredible. Ghost trains.
Yeah.
Get out of town. Just as you pass ghosts, they accumulate and they start following one another, and next thing you know, you have a train of 30 ghosts following you. As you progress through the level gets increasingly quicker and quicker and quicker. You get quicker, the ghosts get quicker, the music gets quicker, everything starts speeding up, and it's not like a big jump. It's gradual. So as you're moving and flowing, things are just getting more and more speedy. By the time you're done, you're just like, holy cow, I can't believe things were moving that fast. But because it eased you into how fast it got up to and ramped up to, it never felt like you were out of control, which was incredible. Like, I don't know how they managed to give the player that much speed in such tight, confined spaces like a Pac-Man maze, and still have them feel 100% control of the character.
And not only that, like the control is great, but it looks modern, which is funny because Pac-Man really hasn't changed, like the look of Pac-Man, except for those like weird 3D spin-offs that they did.
We're not talking about those.
Well, they weren't that bad. Like, I enjoyed them. But
well.
they're definitely not Pac-Man Championship Edition or Miss Pac-Man. Nothing on that caliber. But the neon colors made it look really nice. There was a lot of games back in like 2007 era. You had Luminous, you had I'm trying to think, like Rez, like some really like beautiful like colored games, and it kind of went that aesthetic. But man, the music for this game, holy crap,
so rad,
so good. it's like chill, almost chill trance music,
right?
But then as you play, it gets like more and more hyped, and then it goes into like straight up techno, like, but not in like the crazy like hardcore techno stuff. A very like relaxing, still.
You're not waiting for the beat to drop.
Yeah, it's not all about that bass or that treble. So, but yeah, man, it's what a great. How do you like? I'm trying to think, like, besides Mario, I'm trying to think of other franchises that are 30 plus years old that you can come back and iterate and just make so much better. I mean,
the only one that stands the test of time would be Tetris, but nobody's ever needed to improve Tetris. Like,
that's the thing, is there's been versions of Tetris that they've done like different things, but I've never felt them to be necessary.
No,
like Tetris is still just such a solid game itself, and I still think the definitive version of Tetris is the Tetris on NES, which is controversial, I guess.
I mean, gameplay was pretty good.
But Championship Edition DX is by far the best version of Pac-Man.
Yeah. You could change the aesthetics so the board looks different and the ghosts look different and Pac-Man itself looks different, which is totally cool. Yeah, it's just... And the boards aren't like your typical Pac-Man mazes. They are specifically designed for this game. And the layouts of the boards and the pellets and the sleeping ghosts and everything are so perfectly placed that once you get into a flow and you see the pattern of the pellets ahead, you're never trying to make up your mind on where to go. You're just going with the pattern that's laid out. And sometimes the patterns get pretty intricate, but as you just keep playing, all you see is the path that you need to go on. And it's incredible how that light switch just clicks automatically.
Yeah. And that just goes to show you like how good the game design is in it. You know, that's... It's rare that you can take it, like, games are fun, right? That's why we play games.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of game design that is ultimately flawed. And I think a lot of games get caught up with so many mechanics and so many, like, you got to make the most beautiful looking game, and they forget about the fundamentals of, is the gameplay good?
Right.
And this just showcases how simple this gameplay is, but how amazing refinements like this can be.
Yeah.
So
I have never played a round of this game and ever at the end of the round felt, oh, that was boring, I don't want to continue. Like, it's always just like you're just ramped up so much, like mentally and emotionally, and just full of energy by the end. No matter how good or bad you did, you're just like, that was an incredible experience. I
Did
don't know
you?
how games could get so good.
Yeah. Did you ever play the iOS version of this?
I did not know, because I'm afraid it's going to slightly decrease my thoughts of it.
Okay. I was just curious if it's something that's worth the time, basically. Like if it's because there was that Pac-Man game that was made by the Crossy Roads guys, and I never played that because I just
Oh, Pac-Man 256.
yeah, it just didn't appeal to me. Like I
Yeah,
didn't like the idea of it
I tried
because
it. It didn't work for me.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. No,
yeah,
I'm just curious.
yeah. It's okay. Did its thing, but you know, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, this game awesome. Uh, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX 2 comes out
Yep.
next week.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I think it's like
PC.
$10 or something.
Yep.
Is it on older consoles or just the newest ones?
I believe it is just the new consoles and PC,
Okay.
and I think it might be coming to Android as well.
Really, Android, huh?
And iOS.
Oh, okay. Good.
But I don't think at launch. I think they said they're planning on doing a port. Let me see real quick. Champion Edition 2.
It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Like when I
Yeah.
found out that they were making a sequel, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How could you follow up such a perfect game?
Yeah.
And
I
I've
really
seen
hope.
gameplay of the new one. They did it.
Holy crap, it looks good.
They
Holy
did it.
crap, it looks good.
I don't know how, but they did it.
Right now, just PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So I imagine they'll do ports later down the road. But I mean, that's really where you should play anyway. I mean, I can't imagine playing Pac-Man faithfully on a touchpad. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Just doesn't. I mean, Pac-Man kind of feels like you need to have a joystick.
yeah, because like you have to go up and down and left and right like perfectly. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you can get killed by those nasty ghosts. So
Those nasty ghost boys.
yep. What is it? Inky,
Inky,
Pinky.
Blinky, Winky, and Nod. No,
Sure.
that's not right. Winky, Pinky. Duh.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Inky, Pinky, Winky,
Dinky,
Fred,
Ralph.
Bob,
Oh, Bob. That's what it is.
and Bob.
Linky, Dinky, Pinky, and Bob.
If you know the names of the 4 Pac-Man ghosts, write in. joysofgames@gmail.com. Fun game. I suggest everybody play it. If you don't play the original one, at least check out the new one. Because,
Yeah.
God, it's going to be so amazing. There's so many games coming out, Colin. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. Like, this is the time of the year when there's games every single week coming out. I don't know how I'm going to stop playing this new game. This new Pac-Man game.
Video games are coming.
Video games are coming.
Hot and heavy. It's crazy.
Where do you want to go next? Do you want to do news?
Sure. Yeah, let's go over the news.
All right, let's do some news. Speaking of current,
There's not a whole lot of Xbox news right now. A lot of the 2 other companies, Nintendo and Sony, kind of have filled the news void. But I did want to go over a couple of things after we last podcasted, which was a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox One S did launch. There's 3 different versions of it. There is the $299, which is a 500 gigabyte version, which replaces the original Xbox One system. There's also a 1 terabyte version, which is $349, and a 2 terabyte version, which is $399. Slimmed down, has a 4K Blu-ray player built in. Does do 4K upresing if you have a 4K television. Apparently, it has a 10% CPU, or I think it's either CPU or GPU boost, which apparently is very minimal in games. So like if you are looking to get better frame rates and all that stuff, that's not what this is. This is straight up if you want a slimmer, nice looking console. It doesn't have a power brick. It's all built in now, which is really nice. because the power brick on the Xbox One is humongous.
It's obscenely big.
It's a beast. It really is a beast. So, great revision on Microsoft's part. The controller is also Bluetooth, as well as has the original Wi-Fi capabilities that the old Xbox One has. So, yeah. So that's out. I mean, it's awesome. I'm not going to get one. My Xbox One is perfectly fine. My two Xbox Ones, I should say, are perfectly fine.
Right.
As much as I keep looking at them at work and saying, man, I really should get one of those. There's no reason for me to get one of those. So I'm going to not get one.
Sure.
Save my money for other things.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it's perfect. They've actually outsold PlayStation 4 in August, which is pretty surprising. Because they've only outsold PlayStation 4 like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So, yeah.
Good for them.
Good on them.
Yeah. I like the white color.
Yeah, it looks really clean. And I've seen, like, we were at PAX and I saw some special edition ones. There was it was like a black matte finish one that had like Final Fantasy characters on it. It was really cool looking. So I'm excited to see. I also really want to see the Gears of War one in person because it looks really nice.
Right.
Nice red. Red is the color of blood, and that's kind of what they're going for.
Is that what they were talking about?
Yeah. It's like chainsaws chopping people in half.
I was thinking of like a clown's nose.
Oh.
Yeah. Something a little bit more happy. Go lucky.
Well, buddy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little too morbid for my taste.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll find another co-op partner then.
Okay.
All right. Done.
All right. I will.
Fine.
Fine.
Totally cool.
I'll play with Big Mike.
All right.
On Twitter.
No problem.
At Big Mike 8109. What else is going on?
Halo 5's Forge mode comes to Windows 10 PC. So essentially you can modify, create your own levels, and submit it online, and then pick it back up on the Xbox One.
Question.
Yes.
Why'd this take so long?
Well, for one thing, I don't know. For two things, it's also kind of weird to me. Like, I think it's probably going to be easier to make it on a PC, but it's just that one mode. Right. Like, you're not playing multiplayer on your PC. You're not playing campaign on your PC. It's just that one mode.
Sure. So,
I'm guessing, my assumption is, because Microsoft's been very good about listening to the community and asking what they want. So my guess is the Forge community, the hardcore Forge community, is like, we want an easier way to make the maps, an easier way to edit everything. And I just imagine a mouse and keyboard is just so much easier than taking a joystick and highlighting something and moving around, versus with a mouse, you can move it around like a lot more precision and a lot quicker.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah. So
it just seems like this is maybe a little too late.
Yeah, too little, too late type of thing. But then again, the Halo 5 community is the strongest Halo community since I think Halo 3. So like in that way, I mean the consistent player base.
Let's talk about the Halo Reach community.
Yeah, what about it?
God, what a great game that was.
Yeah. God. That campaign and the firefight mode.
Best campaign.
No.
The best Halo campaign.
No, you're wrong. But it was really good. It was really good.
Speaking of bucket list games, everybody has to play. No, I'm kidding.
Yep, that's one of them. I'm still holding out that they'll do like a remaster because that's the only one that really didn't get any kind of touch up.
Yeah.
So there's also Forza Horizon 3 is actually getting a demo.
Ooh, what?
A demo in 2016.
I'm not familiar with that word. Say that again.
Demo.
Nope. No, I don't recognize that word.
It's like a metaphor, right?
Okay.
So you think about it. Go into your mind. If you could think about the world, but just part of the world, and you could think if you could like that world, if you want to exist in that world, then you play in that world. And then you give them $60 to keep playing in the world.
Weird.
Does that make sense?
Nope.
Okay. Well, this is a lost cause. I don't know what to do. Is this because... Whoa, I just realized you have gone crazy. You talked to yourself more than 90 minutes, didn't you?
Possibly. Also, I'm just not familiar with demos because I don't think that's a real thing anymore.
So back in the day,
Back in my day, you bought a magazine.
Oh
And in the
god.
magazine, there was a demo disc.
I bought those magazines specifically for the demo discs.
And you put it in your PlayStation or your Xbox. And you hope for the best.
one of the craziest demo discs I ever got from official Xbox magazine was Final Fantasy 11. And that was the only way that you could get into the beta is by buying that magazine. Holy crap, what a disaster that was.
Well, it's better than buying a game just for a demo.
Yeah, I bought so many of those magazines back in the day. And I remember playing on the PlayStation 1, a demo disc I bought was it was one of Jackie Chan's games. I don't know if you played any of those, but they were super cool because like all Jackie Chan movies, you can grab like items and like bash people around like with like items. That's what he does. He like uses his environment, right, to attack enemies. Right. So in the game, you could do the same thing. You could grab trash cans and throw them at enemies and like grab wrenches and stuff. It was really cool. Anyway, sidetracked.
Not this show.
Forza Horizon 3 is getting a demo September 11th. So you can try it out before it comes out, which is actually really cool because I think a lot of people think that Forza is just like for the hardcore driving people and it doesn't have like any kind of like arcade features. But Forza Horizon actually has it has similarities to like Burnout Paradise without the crashing, unfortunately. But it has like an open world aesthetic to it. And this time you're actually in Australia, I believe. So it's really cool for people that want to check out the franchise, but don't want to invest the $60 to see if they like it or not.
Right.
So this is really smart of them. I hope every game company goes back to making demos. I know it's really expensive, but I honestly think the benefit outweighs the cost.
Yeah.
But that's me, not being in the game world.
What? What are you talking about? You're totally in it.
Well, I'm in it to win it.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
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 Last thing I wanted to add, there is a new Halo 5 update. They continue doing free updates. Along with the Forge mode, there is a new map called Mercy, which is a remake of Haven. In addition, they added new weapons to Warzone and a bunch of other updates, tweaks, and balances. So,
shout out to them for continuously updating this game with free content.
Yep.
I mean, they have microtransactions in the game, completely unnecessary. But it's enabling them to give free DLC continuously over and over again to everybody that owns a game.
And their maps, too. They're not like crappy DLC like skins and stuff like that. You have full-on maps and modes.
So good. Good job. Good job. Are they making a profit on this game? Who knows? But it's good for gamers.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
That's good for us. If it's good for gamers, it's good for us. I think. Usually.
Indeed. Totally.
Usually.
Definitely?
Definitely, maybe?
Usually.
Call me, maybe?
Oh, man. Where are you talking?
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Oh, my gosh. Please stop.
Can I just do the whole podcast and Katy Perry song titles?
That's not Katy Perry.
Wrecking Ball?
I'm pretty sure that's Miley Cyrus.
Wrecking Ball?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
It's sad that I know that. It grosses me out that I know that. Ugh.
You're right.
Podcast over. I'm out. I got to go take a shower.
You're right. Call Me Maybe was definitely Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Perry Katy. I don't think that was her either.
No?
No. It doesn't surprise me. All the pop stars sound exactly the same.
That's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Who is that?
That's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Is she the person that did that Friday song? Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to go.
Okay, so me doing the rest of the podcast in Katy Perry song titles is not going to work because apparently I don't know what song she's actually done.
I know she did that Fireworks song.
Oh, yeah. Fireworks.
Fireworks. She also did a song with Snoop Dogg.
Fireworks.
And she did The Hot and Cold.
Fireworks.
When you're hot and you're cold, yes and you know.
Fireworks.
Fireworks in
Roar?
Madden? Fireworks in Madden.
Roar.
Roar?
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse Comics?
The one that got away.
Which one got away?
The California Girls.
Oh, the California Girls got away.
Girls with a U, by the way.
Oh,
Did you know girls was spelled with a U?
it's not
Well, she thinks it is.
girls. You gotta pronounce it like that.
Girls.
Yeah, there you go. That's the Urban Dictionary.
Last Friday night.
Oh, maybe she. Oh wait, what happened? What happened last Friday night?
Part of
we were
me.
at PAX. Who?
Part of me.
Part of who?
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally who?
Wide awake.
Where are we awake?
This is how we do.
Oh shoot!
These are all song titles, Collin. And I'm making a very provocative statement with just song titles by Katy Perry.
It's like a haiku. of
Yeah.
song titles.
I'm going to stop there before we dig any deeper because I feel like I'm
Crap.
about to go down a rabbit hole we're not prepared to dig our way out of.
I mean, yeah. Holy crap! This is how we do.
This is how we do. Do what?
Shoot.
Roar. Rise. Firework.
Rise.
List Friday night. Hot and cold. Let's talk about a game we like.
Yeah.
A game I like.
Uh-huh.
A game you're probably a fan of, but you're afraid to actually get into. I feel like you're a closet fan. I feel like you're really a big fan of this, but you just don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
So I'm going to talk about it. And I'm gonna have you do some research here for a second.
Okay.
I need you to look up EA Access.
All right. Let's look up EA Access. What are we doing? What
Well,
am I
I
doing?
need you to tell me kind of about EA Access in a little bit. I need some details. I need to know what games are available on EA Access and how long you could play them for and what the cost is and everything like that. So you do that research while I talk a little bit about Madden 17. Madden 17 just came out. It is the unofficial start of the video game season. It comes out a couple weeks before the NFL season kicks off. For those of you that may not know what the NFL is, that is the Professional Football League of America.
America.
When we say football, we mean football. We don't mean that wussy sport where you just kick a ball around and flop on the ground like a Magikarp because you pretend to be injured. No. I'm not talking about
Wait,
soccer.
Isn't that basketball?
No, that's soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, LeBron James is otherwise.
Right, but you don't kick a ball around in basketball.
Are you sure?
Positive. That's
Okay.
definitely against the rules.
Okay.
No, we're talking about football. Hard-hitting American football. Madden 17. I haven't played a Madden game in a couple years. I was in the buy it every year category of people. It was like every year I'd buy a new Madden game. It was just something I did. It was like a Call of Duty. You just had to do it. And I just started realizing, man, I'm just getting burnt out by this. I would play like one or two games, put it on the shelf, and never touch it again. So I held off. And I got back into this game because, man, I've been missing it a lot. And this game is phenomenal, Collin. It is by far the best Madden game I've ever played. Now, that's kind of an easy statement to make because every year they get better, the graphics get better, the gameplay gets better, the controls get, like, everything always improves, right? But it's just I've had so much fun with this version of Madden. And I don't know, maybe it is because I haven't played in a while. But maybe they've just really improved it and fine-tuned it that much to where it's just that good. It's fantastic. And the reason I want to talk about it on the Xbox week, because I'm pretty sure you could be playing it on EA Access.
So, here's the skinny.
Okay, give me the skinny.
All right,
give me the
EA
deets.
Access is
Give me the
exclusive to
fireworks.
Xbox One.
Mhm.
Wait, the fire is it hot and cold fireworks?
Yes.
Okay, so EA Access exclusive to Xbox One is their streaming service for specific games, or I should say subscription, not streaming.
Right.
$5 a month, $30 a year.
Yep.
So how it works is you can play the games early, which is like a week early. So if you had wanted to play Madden 17 a week early, you could via EA Access. After it comes out, you get a 10% discount off the digital copy of it.
Okay.
So if you have EA Access, you do not get to play Madden. You have to still purchase it. There is a vault of games. The most recent game they have in there is Garden Warfare 2, Plants vs. Zombies, Unravel, and Need for Speed.
Nice.
Everything else is fairly old. So
Sure.
I imagine Madden will be in there probably in a couple months.
Yep.
But right now it is not in their vault.
Sure. But it did give people the opportunity to play it a little bit early, which was cool.
Yep.
And they will get it in the vault shortly. I would say before end of the year, when football season is, in the middle of the season, and copies of Madden aren't flying off the shelf anymore. They'll move it over there, and if you're a fan of EA games, if you're a fan of sports games, like EA Access is a great thing to have.
$30 a year is a steal for all. There's a lot of games too. If you look on the website, I mean, granted, some of them are older, but like Dragon Age Inquisition, Dead Space, Titanfall, FIFA, Battlefield, like there's a lot of really good titles on there.
Absolutely. But Madden, how do you feel about Madden, Collin?
Oh man, I know like everything about Madden.
Yeah,
all of it. I know.
What's your favorite team, Collin?
So we're gonna say, okay. So I'm gonna preface this that you kind of go with your legacy team. You grow up, you liking a team, you gotta stick with that team, right?
Right.
Even though everyone around you hates you for liking that team, you still gotta stick with the team. So my team of choice.
Don't you dare say it.
Is.
Don't you dare say it.
The Detroit Lions.
Okay, that's fair.
No, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, you said it.
So my mother is from Arkansas, but she has family.
Mom?
Your mom goes to college.
I don't think so.
So my mother has family in Dallas. So I'm a legacy Cowboys fan. My father grew up in Detroit, Michigan, so I'm also a legacy Lions fan as well.
Sorry. I feel like
I'm always rooting for Lions, but I'm always shedding a tear for them. From my understanding, they're really bad.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the only team in modern football history to not win a game the entire season.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
That was just a few years back.
Oh.
They went 0-16.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was not
Oh,
good.
no. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
really hard to do. Like, you have to try to lose games at that point.
Oh, no.
They were really bad.
Okay. Yeah.
But at least Lion fans have that expectation of losing every year. Cowboys fans are delusional because Cowboy fans think they're going to win the Super Bowl every single year, and they turn out to be subpar and don't even make the playoffs. So I think it's probably easier to be a Lions fan because you at least know that your entire season is going to be miserable, and you can plan ahead and cheer for other teams. Whereas Cowboy fans go in every single year thinking, we got this. We absolutely got this. And then the quarterback will get hurt, and then the entire season just turns out to a mess because they'll have several people arrested by the end of the year, suspended, injured. Like, they're a mess of a franchise. Absolutely mess of a franchise.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Does Emmitt Smith still play for them?
No, Colin.
I found a really funny meme that I want to share with everyone. There's a scene in Lion King where Mufasa's talking to Simba about like the shadow area and the elephant graveyard and never to go there. Yeah. So there's a picture of that, right? Mm-hmm. And it says, "Dad, what's a Super Bowl?" And Mufasa says, "I don't know, son. We're lions."
It's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate.
I don't know if that ruined my night or made my night. It's kind of like 50-50.
Go either way. I mean, it's a solid Lion King reference.
Is what's his name? Dan Marino? Is he still in the NFL?
No.
Okay, is he gearing up for the Ace Ventura sequel? I'm assuming.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Oh man, I would pay top dollar for that.
So, okay, yeah, okay. So is there a team called the Browns?
Yes.
Okay, where are they from?
Where do you think they're from?
I'm thinking it's a C. Cincinnati?
No, that would be the Bengals.
Okay. Chicago?
Nope, that would be the Bears.
Okay.
The Bears.
The Bears. Okay, what else is there? C. China.
Nope.
Okay. I'm out of guesses.
Cleveland.
Oh, I was on the right track.
Yeah, you were close.
What the heck?
You had the right state.
All right, sweet. Okay.
Would it blow your mind if I were to tell you that Cleveland Browns at one point decided they no longer wanted to be the Cleveland Browns? And they got up and they moved to a different city. And they became a totally different team called the Baltimore Ravens.
Is that still a thing?
Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Then, a few years back, just a few years ago, City of Cleveland decided that they wanted a football team again. And the NFL decided, hey, you know what? Let's expand. Let's give you guys a new football team. And so the City of Cleveland got a new football team. And they aptly named it Cleveland Browns. So the current Cleveland Browns are not actually the same franchise that was formerly the Cleveland Browns.
I remember that happening when I followed basketball too. I remember it was the Seattle Supersonics went to the Jazz or something like that.
No, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, that's right, Thunder. Okay.
Right. But that would be the equivalent of now Seattle getting a new basketball team and then calling themselves the Seattle Supersonics again.
Yeah, there was rumors that they were going to try to do that.
Yeah.
I remember reading that.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Sports are weird, man.
Man, yeah, totally. Like,
sports are weird. Why were we talking about the Cleveland Browns?
Well,
all teams.
I was just asking if it's still around because for some reason in my head, I picture seeing a Cleveland Browns poster at one of my friend's house.
Nobody has Cleveland Browns posters.
Well, somebody did because I didn't just pull it out of my butt. Like, it's a real thing.
You need better friends if that's the case.
Well, he probably left me.
Cleveland Brown fans don't even have Cleveland Brown posters.
Well,
maybe he had it up ironically.
Maybe. I don't know, man. Like,
was it like another team like dominating the Cleveland Browns, maybe?
I don't recall. I remember it being a very nice photo with a very nice generic looking helmet, a solid brown.
Yeah, that's the Browns.
Hence the Browns. That's a really bad name.
It really is. It really is. Their mascot is a dog.
Okay, why didn't they call the Cleveland Dogs then?
And like the place where like their diehard fans sits in the stadiums are called the Dog Pound.
Oh, good lord. They say video games are for nerds.
But and they dress up like bulldogs.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go to sporting events, it's
sure.
I see some crazy cosplay at sporting events.
But they are the Browns.
All right.
Yeah. So
real quick, one more question.
Yeah.
Is this the most mentions the Cleveland Browns have gotten on any podcast ever?
I think that there's probably a Cleveland Browns podcast out there that says Cleveland Browns less than we have.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're the number one Cleveland Browns podcast.
We are officially the number one Cleveland Brown podcast. For better and... What's that sound? It's the sound of the podcast ending forever.
Oh, what a way to go.
That's what Cleveland does. Madden 17 is a good game, Collin.
Yeah.
I think you should play it.
So I hear it is the best Madden since
probably Madden 16.
No, I've heard it's some people had complaints with 16 and 15 I think was the last like quote unquote really good one.
Sure. Which kind of makes sense because, you know, they're turning out these games in like a 9-10 month development cycle. But I feel like they probably have two teams working on them and they overlap years. So there's probably like a 2-year turnaround per team. So it would make sense that it's probably the best one since 2015.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
That's just going off of like Twitter and reviews that I've seen.
Sure.
So even though I don't play these type of games, I do like to read about them. The NBA 2K series gravitates to me more because we have the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm a little bit more like privy to that world.
Right.
For football, I really only watch the Super Bowl. Like every year, I'm like, man, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to get into it, and Just can't do it.
Well, kickoff was tonight of the season, so I mean,
Who is
there's,
playing?
Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
A repeat of last year's Super Bowl.
Is Cam Newton
Mhm.
on the Panthers?
Mhm.
Okay.
He was the league MVP last year,
Okay.
and the losing quarterback of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Peyton Manning's not on the Broncos anymore.
Yeah, because he's like dead.
He
So
retired. He's
he
making that
broke-
Papa John's money now.
he broke his knees.
No,
Oh, Papa John's and Bud Light, by the way.
that's right.
Yeah.
Got to mention both.
Yep.
Madden 17.
Cool.
I think it'd be fun to play it and have you commentate on it.
Oh man, what a disaster that's gonna be!
I think it'd be fun.
Holy crap! All right, I'm down. Let's do it.
Maybe I'll be the Browns against the Lions in a battle of the worst of the worst.
Yes, please.
We'll make it a Super Bowl and everything.
The two teams of my memories.
I would be the Cowboys, but I would physically have to jump off a cliff if I did that. So, looking into the future, Collin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last few times we've recorded episodes of this fine podcast, it's been a little sparse talking about upcoming games. Just hasn't been much to talk about. But, as we just alluded to, Madden has been released into the wild, which is the official...
It's literally the video game kickoff.
It's the green flag being waved at a NASCAR race. It's
I thought they
up
were
your
checkered
engine.
flags.
I think that's the end. Do they use a checkered flag to start too?
I don't know. Call Jason real quick.
I should.
He's the only one that will know this in the world.
God, I'm so tempted, but it's like 1 o'clock over there.
Oh, well, he's probably still mowing his lawn.
Probably. We got a lot of games coming out in the next few weeks, specifically next week.
Holy crap!
Yeah. You want to go over what's all coming out?
Whew. All right, everybody, brace yourselves, embrace your wallets. If you're an Xbox owner, boy oh boy, you got some fun stuff coming.
You finally have some games to play on the Xbox One S.
BioShock the Collection's coming out,
Which
we've talked about many times. Buy that.
Mm-hmm.
We also, the recently announced Dead Rising collection is coming out that consists of Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, and Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. No Dead Rising 3, surprisingly.
Well, it's already out.
Yep,
On
that's
Xbox
true.
One. I mean, you can't remaster a game that's on the same system.
I mean, you could.
Could you?
You could.
Could you?
I mean, you could.
Could they get away with that?
I mean, if you think about it, the Xbox One has backwards compatible games, so it's technically on the Xbox One, and then they get remastered because BioShock is backwards compatible.
I don't think that counts.
Well, I'm just...
Also, Dead Rising 3 looked pretty good as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Dead Rising 4. Holy cow. It looks so cool.
Yeah. I mean, if PlayStation wanted to do that with Knack, now we got something cooking. Actually, no. Knack's perfect. It doesn't need
The only time I'm going to play Knack is on my Ouya. And until it gets ported to my Ouya, I'm not playing that game.
I'll figure out how to make that happen.
You better not. Wait, definitely not.
Could we play Knack for Extra Life?
Oh my god, please don't make me do that. Please.
I'm sure people would like to donate money watching you play that game.
I think that this is gonna be a disaster. But it's for the kids, so
It's for the kids.
It's all right.
Plus,
Yeah,
you get to play a really good game out of it.
No, it's not true.
Well, you'll
It's not.
be singing a different tune in a couple months.
Oh,
Dead Rising.
No. Dead Rising 2.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, and 2 off the record.
Right.
Pac-Man
Was Off
Championship-
the Record just a standalone DLC, or
Yes.
Okay.
It was where you come back as Frank West. Basically, you play the world of Dead Rising 2, but with Frank West.
but it was a standalone thing? You didn't need to play it.
From
Is
my
that
understanding, yes.
Okay.
Yep. We talked about it earlier. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2
Mm-hmm.
coming out September 13th as well.
Yep.
We also have Recore, which is the old Metroid Prime folks and The Mega Man creator, which is Afune. Yeah,
Mhm.
that his name escaped me for a second there. Their studio put that one together. The Witness is getting a release for Xbox One the same day as well. And if you only have an Xbox One and didn't play it on PS4, play this game. It's still my game of the year.
Now's the time.
Yep.
No more excuses, folks.
Drift is coming out September 16th, which is basically like Gravity the game,
Yes.
which sounds super scary.
Yep.
And
Did you spell it right? Did you add a 1 instead of an I?
There is a 1. I just
Okay.
copied and pasted it,
Okay.
so I didn't really spell it. It's just
Good.
so I should pronounce it Adder1ft.
Yep, that sounds right.
So that's coming out September 16th, which I think is Friday.
What a weird date.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, Sony releases a lot of their stuff on Friday, and Nintendo releases
No, they
their
don't.
stuff on Friday as well.
Sony releases everything on Tuesdays.
No, that's not true.
That is 100% true. Even the
Not true.
PSN updates on Tuesdays.
Not true.
And Xbox Live
They-
updates on Wednesdays.
Not true. They release games on Friday
They
before.
do not.
Telling you.
The last one that they did was Ratchet and Clank.
Telling you. It's a real thing.
Okay.
That's a real thing. Then we have Destiny Rise of Iron, the expansion for Destiny, as well as a physical copy of the Destiny collection, which comes with the core game, comes with the expansions, Taken King, and the new Rise of Iron.
I feel like I haven't heard much about this.
I think they are purposely not hyping up as much because they know it's not as big as the Taken King, and I don't think the systems they have in place for that game are actually really solid now. It's a really fun experience. So I don't think they're fundamentally changing the game a lot more than how it exists as it is. And they're putting most of their resources into Destiny 2 because Destiny 2 was supposed to launch this year.
Okay.
But from my understanding, they changed creative directors midway through because the rumor is they were not happy with the progress it was making.
Sure.
So Luke Smith, who was the creative director of The Taken King, which is leaps and bounds better than Destiny Vanilla, he is taking over as the lead for Destiny 2. So that is supposed to be coming out next year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this one, it's basically like when they do the WoW expansions. Like, think of it in that way. Like, it's a $30 expansion. It's got a little bit of extra content, some extra story modes, a new raid, some more multiplayer maps, new weapons. So it's an awesome update for $30. You can't beat it. So
All right.
that's
Is
coming out
the collection a full price?
It's $60. Yep, it's $60 for the vanilla game, and then you get all the expansions,
including Rise of Iron?
Correct.
So I won't have to buy Rise of Iron additionally if I buy the collection?
Correct.
Not like I'm going to, but
Are we gonna play Destiny again?
are you playing Knack?
Moving on. We have Killer Instincts Definitive Edition coming out the same day, September 20th.
Is that all 3 seasons?
That is correct.
Okay.
Which they kind of leaked out that they are planning on doing more beyond that.
Sure.
So I think it's funny that this is the definitive edition, even though there's going to be more. But cool nonetheless. Killer Instincts is an amazing fighter. Like if you've seen that game in motion, holy crap! I still think like the animations beat out Street Fighter V, which came out like 2 or 3 years after Killer Instincts was launched. So
also, they managed to make a fighting game a free-to-play game.
yeah,
I still don't know how that works, but they have managed to do it, and that's awesome.
yeah,
Because
and
people laughed at them when they tried that.
Sure. It was cool too because they did like rotating characters, so you could play like 1 week you could play as Django, the next week you can play as Fulgore, so you can kind of like, if you don't want to buy the season for $30 or whatever, you can just buy them singly. Be like, I don't like the controls, I'll never choose that character.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'll go back to Street Fighter. I think of Street Fighter, there's like 4 or 5 characters that I'll play. The rest of them I will never play as.
Right.
So it's really cool to have that flexibility.
I mean, why would you play as anybody other than Ryu?
Because you have to play as Vega, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Ryu.
Ryu?
Blanca.
Ken.
God, that's so good. Okay.
China. Japan. It's still so good. Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah.
Coming out September 27th.
This game's sneaking up quickly.
So check out that free demo before the game comes out.
Yeah. Might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got to lose? You're losing money not trying a demo.
That's what I look at it as.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If people didn't want to buy any games because apparently they don't like video games and there's not anything that satisfies their palate in the next month, and let's just put this out here. I guarantee one of these games on this list are going to be a game that we talk about on the next Xbox week.
Yep.
Which one, though, is the question. Which one?
I don't know.
I have a couple in mind.
Okay.
If people didn't want to buy games, though, Collin, and they didn't want to try a demo for whatever reason, but they wanted free, full games, what could they download via Xbox with Gold?
So, Earthlock Festival Magic.
Yep. Do you know anything about that?
It's a Kickstarter game.
Oh.
Here is the synopsis.
Perfect.
Enter a beautiful world haunted by its faithful past. Join a party of unlikely heroes on their journey to rescue Ammon's uncle from an ancient cult and uncover the secret of Earth Key. So,
Earth Key, huh?
Let's see what kind of game this is.
I mean, you have to discover the secret of Earth Key in a game called Earth Lock. Get it? Oh, snap. Just blew your mind.
I just don't know what to do with you, buddy.
Why do they need to add Collin Festival of Magic?
Combat Evolved.
It's unnecessary. Unnecessary use of a colon.
So it's a 2D
unnecessary use of a colon.
2D turn-based RPG. So basically,
would not have guessed that.
Yeah, it actually looks really pretty. Looking at it, features rich non-linear story, turn-based combat, no active time battles in parentheses, combat pairs in parentheses says allows for more variation to your battle team, grow your own ammunition in parentheses organic crafting, build and improve your home base. Environmental puzzles, gorgeous overworld with a retro feel. No random encounters. In parentheses says monsters visible at all times. Play as a male or female protagonist. You can switch at any time. So this 100% looks like the old Final Fantasy games. Like that's exactly what it looks like. With a little bit more shine to it.
Sure.
Kind of like if you took the art style of Fable a little bit and put it in a Final Fantasy game. So it looks pretty dang cool.
I mean, it's also free.
Yeah, so please download that.
Please. Check it
out. We also have Assassin's Creed Chronicles, China.
This is an appropriate use of the colon.
Yes.
Also, why don't they just give you the trilogy?
Because it's too expensive.
Is it?
My thought process is this. If someone downloads this for free, they like it, they're going to buy the other two. Right?
Or they're just thinking, I'll just wait till the other two are available.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But what Ubisoft is thinking is that.
Sure.
The ubiquitous soft, as it were.
They are ubiquitous.
The Chronicles game is very much in the vein of Prince of Persia. It's 2D platforming game, action platforming game.
Yep.
Yet to play any of them. I'll probably check this one out because it's free. Sure.
I mean, I played the last great Assassin's Creed game a few years ago, which, was probably, again, the last great Assassin's Creed game. And
Black Flag?
No. That would be Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh. Okay. That is an interesting... I can't tell if you're serious or if you're joking.
I loved that game.
Okay.
It was also my first Assassin's Creed game.
Okay, that makes way more sense now.
Fun fact, because I don't like Europe.
Dang.
As a setting in video games. I'm bored with it. So, like, when it came to America, you know darn right I jumped all over that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's a true story.
I imagine. That makes a lot more sense if that was your first Assassin's Creed, then you would love it the most, because... Although, to be fair, the first Assassin's Creed was the first one that I played was Assassin's Creed 1, and that one was really great for the first third of the game. And then you did the same first third 2 more times, and you wanted to kill yourself by the time you were done.
Weirdly enough, that sounds like every Assassin's Creed game.
Way worse. Way worse.
Okay, fair enough.
We also have WWE 2K16.
Yep, last year's game.
Yep, which is great because it gets people hyped for the next game.
Which comes out next month.
Yep. We also have Forza Horizon, the first one, backwards compatible from the 360, as well as Mirror's Edge, which Mirror's Edge 1 is a great game. I don't know how well it holds up to the parkour mechanics because games like Dying Light and there's a couple other parkour games that have like modern controls, but the art design is really, really cool in that game. So
sure, that's worth. Again, all these are free games. If you haven't played them, you've ever had any interest in them, check them out.
Yep.
Val's son, Chase, like he casually will watch wrestling if we have it on in the house, like occasionally, but he won't invest too much time in it. But he was telling me the other day how he downloaded WWE 2K16 because it was for free, and him and his friend online have been playing like Royal Rumbles and all kinds of stuff. Like he's like really genuinely digging the game, and I was like, that is really cool that you are liking a wrestling game and not really being a super big fan of wrestling in general. So
it's all about the NWO and Wolfpack, man.
Not in the game, surprisingly. Well, actually, I don't know if they were or not.
I don't know. I played a lot of that Nintendo 64 eras. I played a lot of wrestling.
No Mercy.
I think, was that on 64?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
WCW Sold Out.
That's one I played.
Sold Out, yeah.
Yep.
Wrestling games are so good. So stupid fun. I love them. Love them so much.
Indeed.
Before we wrap up this episode, Collin, this episode, of course, is sponsored by good friend Big Mike, speaking of wrestling, co-host of the Triple P podcast, Pops, Pinfalls, Payoffs. Big Mike on Twitter, at BigMike8109. Co-host another podcast called Set Enough Games. You can find on Twitter, at Set Enough Games. Also co-host of Podcast Scorpio. Do you have a Twitter handle for that?
At Podcast Scorpio.
Oh, just like that. Look at that. Look at that social media influence he has. So go check out his other podcasts. He's doing a good job over there. We need to bring in another game to our video game bucket list. We've inducted several so far. These are games that we think everybody should play in their life at some point. We are recommending them, trying to encourage you to play them along with us over the next month or so. We want to hear from you guys out there. We want to hear your experiences with playing them, what you think of them. If you just have memories of them, we want to hear that as well. So it's definitely something that we could kind of do together, kind of like a video game book club. But they are games that we are very adamant that people should be playing at some point. We've danced around one franchise several times, and we've had a franchise in our back pocket that we wanted to save for a rainy day. And I think it's time that we reach into that back pocket and we pull out one of the mini games that we could possibly recommend from this franchise. Because we don't want to oversaturate our bucket list with a particular franchise. But if there's one franchise that's probably going to get some love on this bucket list, depending on how long this podcast lasts in the ether of podcasts, I feel like The Legend of Zelda is probably going to have a few titles in here.
Yep.
So it's time that we dive into this franchise and we pick out probably the shining star of the Legend of Zelda franchise to recommend everybody play and play along with us. Collin, what is the game we are inducting for this month?
We're going to do Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I remember when we started this podcast, that was when the idea for the bucket list came up, that was the first game that came to mind.
Yep.
And my mindset was, let's wait for the month that the Breath of the Wild comes out.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's taking a little bit longer.
It's too long. I'm not going to wait any longer. It's one of the best games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that. That's why it's at the bucket list.
Yes.
I could do probably a whole hour-long podcast just talking about the game.
Maybe we will.
I think we should, because it's that important of a game.
It is that important of a game. It's available on many different platforms. I would recommend, if you have a 3DS, picking up the remastered version that they released on the 3DS, because I never thought I would say it until I actually played it, but I think it is the superior version of Ocarina of Time.
The one thing I'll say is they recently did the port for the Wii U, and they actually up-res the textures, so it actually looks really, really nice. Like, the graphics aren't updated, it's just up-res for an HD TV.
Sure.
So I agree with you, the 3DS is the definitive way to play it, but if you don't have a 3DS and you do have a Wii U, or a Wii for that matter...
That doesn't even sound right.
I know it doesn't sound right, but for me, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, I like my 3DS, but I tend to get hand cramps playing it, if that makes sense. But on the
like
gamepad,
saying, like, if you have an Ouya but you don't have a smartphone, like, it just doesn't seem like it's feasible.
You should have... I want to meet the person that does. I really do.
I'm sorry. Every Wii U owner has a 3DS.
Probably. I don't know where to go from here.
Sorry, I just felt like we had too much references to the Cleveland Browns and not enough to the Ouya, so we needed to start balancing it out a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
This podcast is just going downhill quickly.
But yeah, it's on there as well. If you actually bought it on the Wii Virtual Console and then you have a Wii U now, I think it's like $2 to upgrade,
Sure.
which I think is worth it because it looks really clean on the Wii U.
Yeah.
If you want to play the original version of it.
Can you play it just on the gamepad?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Such a good game.
Absolutely.
Play it. Play
Please.
it.
Please, please, please. And write it.
Go back and play it. Yeah, definitely. Write in. We'll be bugging you over the next month. We'll give you about 4 weeks or so to hash it out, to play it, to enjoy it, to remember it, to reminisce about it. We'll check back in. It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worthwhile game. Before we sign off here, Collin, we started a new thing.
We did?
It's called #ShareYourJoys.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, where we ask people on Twitter which games they are currently playing and enjoying. And I'm going to read the submissions, the responses that we had for Xbox, because we had several for PlayStation. Because we weren't sure if and I don't think we're still not sure if we're doing 1 or 2 episodes tonight. But we're definitely doing the Xbox, obviously, because we just did it. So we'll talk about the Xbox games. Justindo.
Nice. I love that.
Justindo at Legends Origin on Twitter said WWE 2K16 because I got it for free and it's preparing me for 2K17. Good job. Take advantage of those free games.
Nice.
Infinite Arm Yourself at Arm Yourself. Friend of the show, Adam Tuttle, runs that account. He's getting ready for Infinite Arms, of course. He said Titanfall. While we don't have Infinite Arms yet to fill that robot versus robot void. Did you check out the Titanfall 2 demo?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
It's great. It's more Titanfall.
Yeah.
It's like subtle refinement. It's like going from Modern Warfare 1 to Modern Warfare 2. So
Sure.
Very excited for the campaign.
I'm excited for 2 for sure. And then we got one more response from Big Mike at Big Mike 8109, sponsor of the show. Please check out Set Enough Games podcast and the podcast Scorpio. Both 2 fine podcasts that Big Mike co-hosts. He wrote in and said, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Reason is I can stealth kill people legally. It helps me let out my rage.
Yeah.
So, Big Mike, while you may not be playing the definitive Assassin's Creed game, I still applaud the fact that you're finding some joy in playing an Assassin's Creed game at all. Collin, that's a show, my friend.
Yeah.
That's a lot of joy being spread.
What? So much joy being spread to the Browns.
No. I mean, Josh Brown.
Did you throw up a little bit in your mouth?
A little bit.
Okay,
I'm Josh Brown. You're Collin Wheeler.
I am.
Where can people find you on Twitter, Collin Wheeler?
I am at PDX_geek.
Do you have at Collin Wheeler on Twitter?
No.
Does somebody else?
I don't know. I haven't tried.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I would have locked that down. Like, I know 100% sure Josh Brown was taken, like, immediately when Twitter was taken because there's 86 million Josh Browns in the world. How many Collin Wheelers do you think there are?
I don't know. I mean, there's probably Collin Wheelers, but they're probably with one L. I got the 2 L's. I have an extra just in case.
Right.
Rainy day.
I'm looking something up here real quick.
You can also add me on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam, Nintendo, at Cabooses Hero. And I also have a at Cabooses Hero Twitter account, but I never use it. So you can follow me there, but I won't use it very much.
There is an at Collin Wheeler.
Man.
Yeah. He's from Walled Lake.
Well, that's made up.
He has a cool picture of him rollerblading down a hill.
Oh, that was me.
2012.
Yep, that was
he has
me.
7 tweets. He's following 7 people, and he has 4 followers.
Fantastic.
Checking out his followers.
So mine should be at the real Collin Wheeler.
Probably, because this guy is making a mockery of your name, your shared name. Oh, Michigan longboarding. He's a longboarder. Yeah.
All right.
He says, I love you guys and everything you do and stand for, but you need to release the robot. I'm about to buy a Hercules instead.
What?
Yep.
What do I do with that?
Collin Wheeler.
Do I need to teach him something?
At Collin Wheeler. Don't follow that Collin Wheeler.
Please don't.
He hasn't been active since 2012. You can find me on Twitter at The Noise with a Y, of course. Follow the show at Joys of Games. Email us questions, comments, concerns, just to say hi. Let us know what you're thinking about Ocarina of Time, whatever the case may be. joysofgames@gmail.com. You can check out some stuff going on over on our website, toysforgames.com. And if you'd like to support us, maybe sponsor a show, just like Big Mike did, you could do so over on Patreon. Patreon.com/toysforgames. Collin, you and I, we're going to be getting into an adventure here soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be streaming a co-op game.
Very, very excited about this.
Resident Evil 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the best co-op Resident Evil game.
Why, yes. Yes, it is.
No, it's going to be fun. We will be sure to let everybody know when we're doing that. But yeah, we going to PAX and everything. I think we started talking about some different ideas we'd like to make happen. Your work schedule is getting a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be going to school, but I feel like you're going to have a little bit more time to do some things. And we're getting super ambitious with what we're trying to do here. So stick with us because it's about to get good finally.
Yeah, we are the #1 video game podcast on the Toys for Games network. So obviously we have to
That's true. That's true.
Step it up a little bit and play some video games.
Yeah. Until we start playing the new Harry Potter game, Lego game that's coming out on Godric's Hollow, then we're going to give that a run for its money. But
the collection's coming out soon, huh?
October 18th. Only on the PS4.
Really?
Remastered for the PS4. It says right on the art of the box. How do you think they landed that?
Are you sure?
100%. Exclusive to the PS4.
That's kind of a bummer.
Weird, huh?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So Lego Harry Potter is now a PlayStation exclusive?
I don't know.
Why not?
That's so weird. What the heck?
Are you
Doesn't
seeing
make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It says right there, doesn't it?
What the heck? Yeah. First thing is the Lego Harry Potter collection coming to PS4, but not Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh dear.
So, whatever. If you want to hear about hot Xbox One games, Joys of Games is your place to be. Colin, with that being said, I'm gonna say goodnight here. It's been fun. I hope everybody plays some games. Not only plays some games, but enjoys them. Good night.
Good night. I wonder what Troy Aikman's up to these days.